So for my introduction, my name is Estella C, and for my fellow ProPath participants, peeps, I'm the truck driver. But I'm here today, quite literally, to shift gears. I shared with you my story. Once upon a time, early life, I was a truck driver, shifted to becoming an accountant, and for the last 8-9 years now, I have lived in the corner office, and then nobody really talks to me. They just give me the Excel spreadsheets and numbers to crunch, and you give the reports once a month, and they're happy with that. So being front and center on stage and actually having to use my voice to speak is a new experience for me. I'm definitely having to shift. Those are major shifts in my life. So that's why I'm here. That's what has brought me to NSA, Georgia, and I'm excited to share some of my story, the lessons, and I look forward to your feedback in any respect. I am just, let me have, whatever it is, I want to hear your response on this.
So here is Estella, the truck driver,
Yes.
to show you how to shift gears in your own life.
Yes.
Nice round of applause for Estella!
Okay, wow. The road to success. This was a very successful day. The woman on the left, we'll call her Mom. And the one on the right, we'll call her the most amazing, wonderful daughter in the whole wide world ever. That's me. This was a great day because this truck represented the achievement of a goal that had been set almost 5 years before. You never thought you'd see two women so happy about being standing in front of a big truck, right? But there was a long journey behind this truck and learned a lot of lessons. And when I think back on that, I actually go all the way back to when I first learned how to drive a truck almost 17 years ago. And there was a driver who rode with me for about 3 months. The most important lesson, we learn lessons every day, right? I learned on the way down to Atlanta this morning that you can be making great time until you hit that 285 interchange. You're dead on the road. Okay? But some lessons stick with us much longer. And when I was learning to drive one of these trucks, it's a manual transmission, right? So you have to shift the gears. And it's terrifying because you have all this weight and you have this big machine and you have all these little cars around you doing their thing. And you have to find the right gear. And I remember I shifted, and Sam Dennis, bless his heart, he's the best instructor ever, because he doesn't get excited about anything. I shifted, and the truck made a funny noise. The engine didn't sound just right. And I said, I think I'm in the wrong gear. It's all right, just find another one. That lesson has really stuck with me throughout life. Just find another one. But shifting gears, I'm going to take you through this. If you've ever driven have you ever driven a manual transmission in a car? I mean, most of us get in the car and you have PRMD. Okay, those are not gears. that's a gear selector. But when you have a standard transmission in a car, you have a clutch pedal and you have a gas pedal. And you push the clutch in, put it in gear. You can be going 80 miles an hour down the interstate. You can push the clutch pedal in, and you can shift from 5th gear over to 1st. It will go into the 1st gear slot. Now, if you let out on the clutch, you're going to be going to your mechanic's shop. But it's kind of like a mental breakdown if you think about it. You just kill the system there. And one of these trucks, most cars maybe have 5 or 6 gears. One of these trucks has anywhere from 10, 13, 15, 18, or even 21 gears to go through. Think about that gear pattern that we go through. So I want to go back and I want to say, what does trucking have to do with our everyday lives? Why do I think about trucks why do I talk about trucks when I talk about shifting gears? And here's the thing. If you think about all of your goals, all of your hopes, all of your dreams, all the things that you want to accomplish or contribute to this world in your lifetime, would they fit in a small basket? Would they fit in the trunk of your car? For me, there's a whole truckload of stuff. So I think knowing how to drive a truck and how to shift gears is very key to getting through life and delivering what you want to contribute to this world. So, if you're in the truck, you're in the driver's seat, you have this truckload of stuff, and you're here and you need to go to California. The first gear, that's easy. You push the clutch in, pull the gear shift over, you're in low range, gear selector back, first gear. Only thing you have to do is let out easy on the clutch, and that truck will go. But can you drive from here to California in first gear? No. No. Things happen. There are construction zones on 285. There are cars that get in front of you and stop. And you've been going fast, and all of a sudden you have to come to a dead stop and you have to start over. So you have to learn the gear patterns. In a truck, there's 5 slots, there's 2 selectors, low range, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Come back and you go through. You can learn the pattern, that's fine. And that's really good to get you started. When you get on that interstate ramp, and you're going, you just automatically, you go through those gear patterns, shifting, you're doing great. And then you hit that construction zone. Whoa. And here's the tricky part about the clutch, about the transmission in one of these trucks. You can't just push in the clutch and shift to another gear. It's a synchronized transmission. So that means that the road speed, how fast you're going, has to match up with how fast the engine is turning, your revolutions per minute on the drive axle, and those have to match up. They have to be in sync in order for the gear to accept. Otherwise, if you're going too fast and your RPMs are too low and you try to shift into 5th gear, you get and then your nerves shoot out of your head. You go, oh my gosh, and then the truck slows down, and then the RPMs drop even more, and then you can't go to 5th gear. You think you maybe need to try 3rd gear, and then you get more. And before you know it, if you keep doing that, if you keep panicking, before you know it, you've lost all of your speed, and you're on the side of the road, and you have to start over. So what I've learned about, when I first started driving, when I first learned to drive, I had a route that was 20 miles. It was a local route in a big truck. And in this 20 miles, there were 19 red lights. So I got really good at shifting gears. You get to start, but it's like the interstate ramp, right? Because you get the red light, you stop, first gear, we start again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and you just keep going. It works fine. There was one red light on this route. It was on Depot Hill. It was going through a downtown area. And the red light it wasn't at the top of the hill. It was down about 3/4 of the way. And this was a steep hill. It was a long hill. I did not want to have to start over in first gear on that hill. So there was a little hill back here, and you could see the red light out ahead. So I learned to time it so that when I topped this hill, if that light was turning yellow, I started slowing down. And I would creep up that hill, and then about the time I got to it, I could catch another gear and go on it, but I did not have to start over from a dead stop. That was great, and that worked wonderfully for many, many, many weeks. And then would you believe, there was this one day, I did this very same thing. Topped the hill, saw the red light was red, it's going to turn green. I knew what gear I needed to be in to time that red light just right. So everything's going perfect. There's a car in front of me. We're going. It's about to turn green. I see the other cars stop. We're about to go. This car in front of me, some little Pinto, I think, all of a sudden decided to stop and put on his left turn blinker to turn left. You don't turn left at this red light in downtown. So then I had to stop. I had to come to a dead stop and sit at this red light, and I was terrified to have to start over at 0 on the side of a hill in a big truck with 80,000 pounds behind me, because if I didn't get that clutch timing just right, I was afraid I was going to roll back and squash somebody behind me. And then if I did get it right, and I did get in first gear, then I had to get into second gear on the side of a hill, and I had to get that timing just right to make it to the second gear and the third gear. It's good practice. It's been a great lesson for my life to always remember just to find another gear whenever if it doesn't sound right. If you're shifting gears and you find yourself in the wrong gear, find another one, and you'll make it through. You'll get there. Thank you. Oh, I have to stand up here now. This is the scary part.
We're friendly.
Well, I think you have a great hook being a female truck driver.
Yeah.
And being a female truck driver that doesn't look like what I imagine a female truck driver looks like, okay? So that's great. That's a shock right at the beginning. And it's a good grasp. Some of the delivery things, your eye contact, you're looking down all the time.
Okay.
And when you do look at me and other people, it looks great, and you're connecting, but then you're looking up here and you're looking up there. And non-verbally, what that says to an audience is either you're uncomfortable speaking in front of people, or you don't know what's coming next, and you're trying to think of what's coming next.
Okay.
So you really have to connect with your audience, eye contact the whole time. And with a big audience, you can go back and forth what we call the Z pattern, which is you're looking over here and you're talking, and as you're talking, you come to people at this side of the room, and you don't want to do it fast, or else you're like, like the sprinkler system ahead. So that's it, and maybe just knowing your presentation better, you feel more confident, you're not looking down as much, okay?
Okay.
Second thing on delivery, you tend to drop your voice at the end of some sentences, especially when you're saying something important or saying something that's kind of funny, and also your voice drops down. Like, what did she say? So watch your voice dropping down. And at the beginning, when you talked about your truck, you be specific. Here I'm. You're driving this with 4,000 or 2 tons behind you, as opposed to a lot of pounds.
Okay.
When you're talking about the gears, instead of saying they can be 15, 18, up to 21 gear. They can be up to 21 gears.
Okay.
You don't need all the other stuff with it. Didn't need all the shifting every time you talked about it. It didn't add anything to it.
Okay.
All right? And one example of it, might, and I've driven manual. And I've done 3 off the tree and 4 off the floor, but when you said 21 gears, I'm like, seriously? I mean, as a guy, I don't know, maybe just anybody, that had my attention. How do you remember 21 gears? Okay?
You don't. You just find another one. You just find another one.
Which is point.
I wanted to find out what happened after you stopped for the jerk that turned left there.
Oh.
So
Okay.
there was no, because all you talked about was what you were worried about that you had to do. We didn't find out what you actually did do. Was it a success? What was the message that you learned there? And I think there was probably many opportunities while you were talking about how the truck works and the shifting to compare those to make an analogy to what your message is in your story. So instead of just going through the whole trucking thing, and then here's my message, just like in your life when you have to, right? And I liked your phrase at the beginning, find another gear.
Yeah.
But really kind of help me with what that means in your life. Make me think. Have you ever had a situation that? Find another gear. So folks, next time something happens, what are you going to do? Like Kathy did with hers, got the audience to answer for. Find another gear.
Okay.
That's it. I think you got to have a good story. You need to know it a lot better. And you really need it again. The beginning, middle, and end. Why did I spend 10 minutes listening to you? What am I getting out of it? What am I going home with that's going to make my life better or different? Or what am I going to stop doing because I listened to your presentation and I know what I've been doing is wrong? And one of the things with NSA that we talk about too is that you have a great presentation if I can turn to Denise and in 1 or 2 sentences explain to her what you talked about. Oh, I saw a great speaker today. How many times did it happen? I saw a great speaker today. What did they talk about? It was something with humor and stress or something. I don't know, but she was a truck driver. You wouldn't believe she was a truck driver.
Yeah.
So for me to say here, 2 sentences, this was her message. Wow, that's something I could use. Where do I find her?
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Steve?
I think we all applaud you for finding the new gear. I mean, you actually did it today. That's number one. Number two is like your sense of purpose there? I mean, you're speaking because I sense you want to have an impact,
Right.
have an influence. So just keep doing it and keep letting it unfold. You know? I mean, you have so many basic elements there to be a tremendous speaker.
Thank you.
I don't know if you ever saw the Andy Griffith episode where they had Barney was giving truck drivers tickets for going.
I've met some of those though.
For getting enough speed to go up a hill, but you know, it reminded me of that.
And that would even be something like, you could get the clip.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Plus with your accents. It's,
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
Good point.
Yeah.
You're talking about vocal speed. I understand. I need to improve that.
Oh, your accent.
Okay.
Yeah, I think within all of this, because you've got a great message,
Yeah.
but and you're funny, and you're good at being funny. But I think if you could create, like, practice doing something really dramatic that is like going through the gears.
Okay.
You know, do something that's a very visual. I think that'll really be good in your
Okay.
talk. Somehow to work that in.
I have some specific stories because, like I said, I did this for years, and then I went into an accounting office, and then I started back about 5 years ago. I'll take a trip, at least one trip a year. Okay, go from driving a keyboard to driving a truck. It's a whole new world, and yeah, I have some specific experiences about that, but I guess I need to practice on relating it back to a purpose for the audience. So that's what I'm.
But just something visual I think will really be entertaining and get the point across.
Okay.
You know, like it could be doing this and you know, doing something here and having comments as you're moving through different gears. So
Oh,
you
that's
probably
great. Thank
give
you.
something
Yes.
Yeah, so from a physical performance aspect, you could have a tall stool. And whenever you're driving your truck, you
Oh
can
yeah, I need
sit
to
on
get
a
on.
tall
I need to
stool.
get on the driver's seat.
Also, when you're talking about the Pinto, I think it was a Pinto.
It was.
Yeah.
You know, anything where you can physically
that's good.
emphasize, I think it was a Pinto. You can just add so much. I love how down to earth you are.
Yes.
I never felt like she's presenting something. And because like really when people get up there and they present, I'm uncomfortable because I don't even know who they are. So loving you because you are so who you are right up there, and I really appreciate that. And then also for Nanny and you both, what do I want the audience to take away? What are those 2 sentences? What do I want them to go home with that they will remember because I've exampled it in so many different ways all through the talk.
Okay.
So that would be something.
I think I would just say, can you relate to when you shifted a gear in your life?
Yes.
For me, like you, because I got it,
Yeah.
because I'm like, oh yeah, I'm shifting gears like all the time. We all are, you know. But then tie it back to
An example of
An
shifting
example
gears in your
of-
life.
In your life.
whatever it was. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Whether it's the being in the accounting office, which I kind of think you did maybe a little bit. You were
Yeah.
trying to do that, tying to where you were. But I think once you were in it, to offer up this is how I, not saying this is how I
Yeah.
shifted a gear, but tying it into, yeah, wow, it was,
In a way, I want to tie it to our emotions. You know, when, if you ever heard somebody being whining, complaining, the engine whines when you're in the wrong gear.
Oh, okay.
The engine whines, it lulls.
but can you
And
still
and
tie
know-
that back to?
And so whenever if you hear somebody and they're whining or they're complaining all the time, it's like, we need to get you in another gear. You're in the wrong gear.
That's
You
a
get in
great
the other gear.
example.
That's great.
Yeah,
So-
that was great.
Yeah.
Okay.
And even when you said, I was on the side of the road and I had to start over. Well, we're all thinking of times that we felt like I'm stranded down on the side of the road and now I gotta start all over. Your content points are there.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yes,
the find another one, the had to start all over. So, you know, we're all kind of driving 2 tons of dreams to California.
Yeah.
And manage 2
Yeah.
21 gears at the same time. And what happens? A Pinto cuts you off. And what happens? You're on the side of the road.
Good.
You know, so I think
Exactly.
there's so much analogy there for life that
Yeah.
we can all relate to. You got it.
Stella, have you written out your speech? Was
Not
that
this
written?
one. I have written out the other stories, but
Okay.
that's.
Because I really think that as everybody listens to everybody, you need more structure
Yes.
on there, and it took me the longest time for me to actually to do it. And the very first time I did it, I recorded myself and then sent it to rev.com and then got the transcript back, and it was based on that that I was actually able to start organizing a written speech to be able to put all my points together. Because you were making points, but they were
They're
over here,
distracted,
they're over
yeah.
there.
Right.
And as you start moving along this progress, on this path that you started, the Pro Path, as Jeff talks about, you gotta have a beginning, middle, and an end with points that people are gonna remember. And a lot of people have a real hard time in sitting down at a computer and writing out their speech or typing it up. And rev.com, rev.com, it's $1 a minute, it's well worth it. I do it all the time, where I'll just go ahead and dictate in there, send it off, and then I go and work on it at that point in time. Okay?
I was Brooke's case. You are so relatable.
Yeah.
I wish I had that. I don't have that. Where it's just like, she is so nice. Because people make judgments, right? She's so sweet and nice, and oh, she's down to earth, and I can listen to her, so we're open.
Yeah.
And what I would love to, because it's like, you have the advantage of knowing how to drive a truck. Most people that you speak to have never been in a cab. We don't know.
Yes.
So one of the things you might consider at some whatever type of speech you give is say, come in the truck with me. Have you never needed to switch gears? Let me show you how. When I needed to switch gears, I had Sam with me. Let me tell you about Sam. I wanted to hear more about Sam because you're going to be our Sam.
Okay.
Okay, come in the truck with me. Okay, let me show you how it's done. Oh, did you just make a note? Oh, you hear that?
Yeah.
I got a little lost in the technical stuff. I have I've never driven a stick. I don't know about all that. It sounds very complicated. So I got really lost in all the gears.
So you're saying that could be like a video that she could show?
No, but that's a good
I think it would be a good
I
idea.
think it could
I think
be.
a video would be great, with pictures of you in your cab.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, the sounds, the sounds of the gears,
Oh, that-
everything.
Yes.
Exactly.
Sound.
The other thing, please get a clicker.
Well, she only had one.
Because you're gonna have more slides, and you're gonna have more content. And so we don't want anything to you're gonna
Yeah,
watch
I don't need to
it.
do that.
That's all.
One more comment.
Okay.
On your opening, I really liked it because I was really interested in that picture.
Oh, yes.
And I wanted to know why that was such an important day. And what went in, a lot went into that day is what you said. Well, what is that? Like, what are you saying to me? Why am I looking at this? Is your mom a truck driver?
Yes.
Okay, so, this would be great, just a little background, really hook us in the beginning. And another way to do that is, what's on that slide? Look at us. You were looking at the slide while you were talking, so to have an impactful opening, look out at us and say, that's my mom and I on a really important day. Here's why it was important. Here's what went into that, whatever. Just draw us in the beginning.
That was the day
Yeah.
she added the 5th truck to her fleet of trucks.
Okay.
Oh,
So-
wow, that's huge.
She started with
Wow.
one. She started with one 5 years ago,
Wow.
and that was the day we brought the 5th one home.
Wow.
So that's so exciting. And we'd be cheering with you. You draw us in.
I totally forgot. Jeff.
So your mom is a real mother trucker?
Yeah. She is a former student of yours.
She is?
She is. And whenever I got the email that said you were going to be here today, I was like, oh my God.
When did
This
you
is my
take the
full
class?
It's maybe been, maybe 6 or 7 years ago. Do you remember somebody driving down from Athens, Tennessee?
Is what?
A lady driving down from Athens, Tennessee?
Oh, yeah.
That was her.
Oh my God.
So if you graduate from the Comedy Workshop, you too could have a life on the road.
That's right,
The importance of humor in success, because there's things you just have to laugh at whenever you're out there.
I think I would steal that line.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah,
She's a real mother trucker.